Guys, no siren because I'm still in Los Angeles, California. As a matter of fact, I'm just coming back from the Intuit Dome from Money in the Bank. But I promise you, siren or no siren, we have feelings. Welcome to a Notsam Wrestling emergency podcast. And we bring this emergency podcast to you because our truth is back. The second emergency podcast about our truth in a single week. Only this time, the emergency podcast is that our truth is back. Of course, it was just last weekend, what was it, Sunday, when the tweet comes out from our truth saying that he was released from his WWE contract, and then reports came out that he wasn't released. It was more of the contract wasn't being renewed situation. That all doesn't really matter to me. That ends up being semantics. Every source said this was legit. R-Truth himself said this was legit. And whether that was a work or whether that was true at the time, but things were put in motion to correct decisions that were made whenever those decisions were made, I don't know. And I don't know that we will ever know. Maybe we will know at some point. But all we know is that tonight at Money in the Bank, our truth returned, and he returned in the biggest way possible. And it left me, I was jumping up and down on the floor. And I will tell you why. On the floor of the arena. I wasn't like in my room jumping up and down, although I probably would have been in my room jumping up and down, because I think that in that era, right around WrestleMania 40, it felt like WWE could do no wrong. And part of that was because the fans felt listened to. Cody won the title, the build-up to WrestleMania went, the fans felt listened to. It was like, here's what we want, and WWE said, oh, that's what you want? Okay, that's exactly what we'll do then. And it made people feel good. Now, you can't do that all the time. You can't just say, like, well, what are we going to do next? I don't know, we'll wait for the audience to say. Like, at a point, you have to do what you're going to do, and hopefully the audience will like it. That's why we watch it. We can't write the show. But when we see something that we don't like, we can be vocal about that. We have social media. We have the internet. We buy tickets to go to shows. Like, our voices can be heard now more than ever. And I feel like when the news came out that R-Truth was not going to be a part of the WWE, a lot of fans felt like, well, that feels like a move that you didn't think about us at all. Like, we love R-Truth. Why would you do this? We all are so entertained by this person. And we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. We don't know what the bean counters are responsible for. We don't know any of it. All we know is what we see on TV. And what we see on TV is we like that guy. That guy is good TV. And so when we find out he's gone, it's like, did you not think of us at all? We're the audience. And then tonight, when we have this match, where to me, and I was talking about it with Megan on the Countdown show, but I kind of, when I do the Countdown show, I kind of like to frame things in a way that, yes, it's WWE TV, but also it's reality. It's the reality of how we as fans, a lot of us, are feeling. And that's why I said that main event at Money in the Bank had just as much to do with the four individuals in the ring as it does the future of WWE. This idea that Logan Paul is the future face of WWE is that sort of same line of thinking where it's like, well, hey, what about all the wrestlers that I like? What about all the wrestlers that I've cheered? What about all the wrestlers that I've watched for all these years? What about those guys? For instance, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, that I've been watching for all these years. Why wouldn't they be the face? Why would Logan Paul be the face? Why would Travis Scott be at WrestleMania? Why wouldn't R-Truth still be in WWE? And you start to go, oh no, are they just not, am I not the audience anymore? And I think that there were people that felt that way. And I feel like this is one of those moves where it's like, no, man, watch the show and see where it goes. Because we're listening, we get it, and you're not going to like every single thing. Nobody can like every single thing. But you're going to like a lot of it. And if we go too far in one direction, we're going to go in the other direction. By the way, if it gets too fan servicey, because that can happen too. A lot of franchises, entertainment franchises, get too fan servicey, and when they do, it gets to a point where you're like, okay, we gotta bring that back a little bit and work more on telling our stories and not necessarily just giving people exactly what they asked for. So I think that all that went into this shock, and the shock of it all. Ultimately, as wrestling fans, we want to be surprised. You hear that all the time. When spoilers are given, when they announce Nikki Bella is going to be at Raw. I think that's fine. I think that makes me want to tune into Monday Night Raw. There are others that go, I wish that had been a surprise. I think that whether that specific example resonates with you or not, that all wrestling fans do want to be surprised. So when you can pull off a surprise like this, that absolutely nobody saw coming, it's so rewarding as a fan to, on two levels, feel number one, like I was listened to, and number two, they're still surprising me. They're still going in directions that I didn't see coming. That was our truth coming back tonight. So, the match, we're watching it unfold, and it was a classic good guys versus bad guys match. You started seeing a lot of finishers. At one point, you saw Cody take that attitude adjustment. 1, 2 and 15 sixteenths, and he kicks out. Oh, thank God. You saw Jey Uso hit that spear from one table to the next, only to have Logan Paul do the moonsault, springboard moonsault on the outside of the ring all the way to the table, crushing that commentary table. So cool. And then, as the referee's distracted, John Cena hits Cody Rhodes with the belt. And I'm honestly thinking, this can't, I don't know where they're going at the moment, but you can't end the match like this, because if Cody loses to John Cena again by getting hit with the title, then where does Cody even go? What does Cody do going forward? And to see that hooded figure, and when that hooded figure started beating down John Cena, I had no idea. Our truth didn't even pop into my head. CM Punk, I don't know, could be anybody. Somebody debuting, Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo, I don't know. And then boom, the hood comes off and the mask comes off. And it's our truth. Or, according to WWE's Twitter account, WWE Shop put out a link for merch, but it said Ron Killings is here. So I don't know if maybe this is a more serious version, because he also had this mean look on his face. So maybe we don't see the goofy R-Truth anymore. Maybe this is an era where Ron Killings is just simply Ron Killings. Maybe it's a different character. Maybe, I don't know. It's one of these classic, keep watching, stay tuned to find out moments. And Triple H even addressed it as that at the press conference, where they go did you make this, was this, they basically asked, was this a work from the beginning, or did you pivot? And he said, you like the show? He was like, yeah. He's like, all right. Anyway, next question. Which, honestly, I'm totally fine with. I don't think, and if you are not okay with that, but you also think that Netflix is you're worried that Netflix might go too inside with their docuseries. Or if you're not okay with that, but you also don't like when The Rock breaks kayfabe at press conferences, you can't have it both ways. To me, Triple H, especially while we're in the middle of this story, while we're in the middle of whatever this narrative is, kind of keeping the details close to the vest because it's part of the story that's going to be told, I think that's the way it should be. Because you're telling a story that, all of a sudden, it's not just what's on camera. The real life of it, the tweets, the news, the social media reaction, it all now becomes part of the story. Whether it was always intended to or not, almost doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Whether this was a plan from the beginning and they geniusly predicted the reaction that it would get, or it was a pivot that was made over the course of days and they just heard it and decided we're going to go with this. I think either way we win as fans. So that's kind of where I'm at. I honestly had thought that John Cena had handled it perfectly on SmackDown when they were chanting, "We want truth, we want truth." And John Cena said, "You want the truth, you can't handle the truth." I was like, that was brilliant. And he was like, "You guys are hypocrites. You can't handle the truth." And he took "we want truth" to mean we want the truth, which is obviously not what it meant, but it acknowledged the chant. It twisted it, and it allowed it to focus on the story that we thought we were being told, not realizing that truth was going to be part of the story that we're being told. Now, Cena is scheduled to be on Raw in Phoenix, I think, only because I saw John Cena Phoenix t-shirts. So if that is the case, I'm pumped about it. I also think that any sort of unassuredness about Cody as a babyface is going to be helped by this outcome, right? The idea that you can root for the babyface because he's a babyface for a company that heard you and brought our truth into this story. It makes it easier than, well, he's the babyface, but he's the babyface for a company that just, whatever, got rid of my favorite wrestler. That becomes more difficult. So I think everybody benefits from this. But I say John Cena's schedule for Phoenix because I wonder if we get kind of the answer to this on Monday. And what do we have? What the next big show, I guess, actually, Night of Champions, I think, is the end of the month. And then you've got that Saturday night's main event. So whether you, are going to a rematch with Truth and Cena, and you're going to do that at the next Saturday night's main event in July, or, I don't know. There's going to be some kind of 3-on-3 situation. I have no idea. But I'm fascinated by the whole thing and just so, excited about it. It makes me feel optimistic, is what it does. It makes me feel very, very optimistic about everything. Elsewhere on the show, Seth Rollins, first of all, Seth Rollins as the person holding the Money in the Bank, as I talked about on the pod, leading to Money in the Bank, is, to me, the best move possible. I think that it's perfect. I think the idea that, and I hope there's some that think that Seth is going to cash it in right away on Monday. That you've got Jey Uso versus Gunther. Jey has already been through this tag match. Jey has already been through Logan Paul. Jey already wrestled on Raw last week. Jey's been doing everything. And there are some that think that Seth could cash in and Monday would be perfect. I kind of feel like I would rather see Seth Rollins hold that briefcase as a kind of a showcase of his power. Just this idea that the only reason I'm not the champion right now is because I haven't decided to win the title yet, but I will. That looming there with Seth and the briefcase and Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman and Paul Heyman. It's an unbeatable crew. Even if Seth doesn't attack the champion after a match, all that has to happen is Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed beat the hell out of one of the champions, and then Seth goes in and goes, "Hey, could you start this match?" And then he beats them. It should be a one-way ticket to the championship. But the fact that we know that that's there, I would want them to keep that up in the air. And Naomi, the first thing I thought of when Naomi won the briefcase is, okay, Naomi wins the briefcase. See, I think Naomi could cash in, although Naomi could have a cool custom briefcase, because Naomi could put caution tape all over the briefcase. But I think Naomi could cash in quicker. I think because if Naomi cashes in and she beats Tiffany Stratton when Tiffany Stratton is vulnerable, then she becomes the champion, right? And then you go to Queen of the Ring, and Jade Cargill could win the Queen of the Ring tournament. If you have Naomi beating Tiffany by cashing in the briefcase, now Tiffany hasn't really lost anything. She can get a rematch eventually. Now Naomi's the champion. If Jade Cargill wins the tournament, you get a shot at the champion at SummerSlam. So now you've got a scenario where you've got Jade Cargill versus Naomi for the championship at SummerSlam. And I think that to me is a very appealing thing. And I hope that that's the I hope that that's the direction they've thought of. And then, of course, the moment of the night, other than Truth coming back, Solo Sikoa looked down at Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu said the thing. He said the thing. We said one day he'll say the thing. He said the thing. I hate you, Solo. Jacob Fatu comes out, saves Solo and the rest of the people in that ladder match from Seth Rollins' goons beating all of them up. He gives Solo a wide open field for Solo to set up a ladder and climb up the ladder. As Solo is climbing up that ladder, he's guarding it like a German Shepherd, not allowing anyone to get near it, but then he grabs that ankle. And I mean, Solo, like, Solo's swaggy face is to me one of the funniest things on television, but him looking around and going like, I don't understand why I can't raise my foot. I don't understand why I can't get any higher. And then he looks down to see Jacob's hand on his ankle. And it's like Jacob wasn't in the match. Jacob didn't do this for himself. Jacob just didn't want Solo to have that briefcase. And so he stopped Solo from giving him the briefcase. And then dropped him, put him through a ladder, hit him with a moonsault, did the whole deal. Jacob Fatu, now on his own, as a babyface, I would think, Solo guy, not Solo, a Solo star. He's not a Solo guy anymore. And I honestly, and I said this on the Raw recap, on the Money in the Bank recap podcast, but I was watching SmackDown on Friday, and the two things that struck me were John Cena's promo about, and interrupting it about Truth, which I thought was great. Oh, three things. John Cena figuring out how to leave a promo without getting beat up. Props to you, John Cena. I guess you listen to the podcast. And then I thought the idea of the bloodline could come back together. And this is just me and my bloodline stuff again, but I go, because when they were interacting with Jimmy Uso, I go, what if Solo did get JC Mateo and Jacob Fatu on the same page? And then what if Jimmy actually did join them? Now you're starting to get these pieces together, because part of it is like, what's Jimmy doing right now? What's the future of Jimmy Uso? I think there's a way, even now, because obviously you're not going to do that, but like the story that you tell is, look, Jimmy Uso is actually Solo Sikoa's big brother. Like, not like real life big brother. And as a big brother, you can't let your little brother get killed by Jacob Fatu. I have a little brother. I, unfortunately, would not be able to allow my little brother to get killed by Jacob Fatu unless I put myself in front of that truck. Now, I wouldn't survive it. That's Jacob Fatu. You got what I mean? But I would have to do it. So part of me wonders if you turn Jimmy Uso heel and you have Jimmy Uso protect Solo from Jacob. That you'd start with JC Mateo, obviously, and you could do your Jacob JC stuff. But I kind of feel like having Jimmy join Solo and kind of build from there. And Jay is kind of like, what are you doing? I don't know. To me, and I know some of you will probably say, like, not more bloodline stuff, but I think that that could be good for Jimmy. And it's complicated, because maybe Jimmy doesn't really want to, but that's his brother, and he has to do it for his brother. I don't know. It could be something. I think it could be kind of interesting. But yeah, so those are the things, and yeah, I can't wait to see what the future of Solo looks like now. A lot of news to come out of Money in the Bank. Let me know what you thought about it all. Leave it in the comments on YouTube or the reviews or comment section on Spotify or Apple. I wanted to make sure that I talk to you guys right away, because I probably will. I won't have a Not Sam Wrestling podcast up on Monday, because tomorrow is Sunday. I'm traveling back to New York on Sunday. Won't get home until 8 o'clock at night. So hopefully I'll be able to work on it, start working on it on Monday, but it almost, I feel like maybe midday Tuesday, at some point on Tuesday might be the time to do the pod. I feel like maybe we come off of Raw and we do a Not Sam Wrestling, a full Not Sam Wrestling show after Raw. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you guys. R-Truth is back. Maybe we did it. Either way, let's celebrate like we did it. And let's have a good one, okay? I'll talk to you guys later.